going on, everyone? So Dejounte Murray to the Lakers seems to be the most likely scenario so far. Obviously, nothing is finished until it's finished, right? Until Dejounte Murray is holding up that Laker jersey and he is officially ready to play, anything can happen, anything can fall through, right? The Lakers, based on reports, kind of got to the 1 yard line and nothing happened. It is really hard to get back to that point. But let's go under the assumption that the Lakers do get Dejounte Murray. The thing is that the Lakers, realistically, they need more than just Dejounte Murray. I do think if they get Dejounte Murray, he could make them better, right? I do think the upside with him is very high with the Lakers. Again, it depends on what Dejounte Murray you're getting. If you're getting like the current Atlanta version, right? Probably not. Like, I think they'll be better, but I don't think they're going to be much better. But if you get like a hybrid of like the San Antonio with the shooting of this current Dejounte Murray, then yes, I think the sky's the limit for the Lakers. Because you're talking about a guy that is an all-defensive guy that can lock down defensively as a point-of-attack defender. Our transition would be fantastic. Points off turnovers, all of that. And then his ability to shoot 40+% from three and then make plays for others. I just think that would go a long way for the Lakers. But regardless, even if you get that version of Dejounte Murray, you still need other pieces. The problem is the Lakers are going to be very limited on assets because they're basically going to trade everything to go get Murray, right? They're going to trade D'Lo, Jalen Hood-Schifino, a first-round pick, and a pick swap is kind of what's being reported. Now, obviously, those things can change. The Lakers need to find a third team for D'Angelo Russell, and that could be a real opportunity for them to get maybe a piece or two, give up some seconds. Time will tell. But a couple options, obviously, is like you have the third team route. You have like the buyout market even could get you a guy or two, although those guys are probably not going to be like huge impact guys, although maybe they could help with a need depending on how things shape up, what kind of trades. Obviously, the Lakers need a center. So when you kind of pillage through the landscape here, it's what is available, what is the cost. Obviously, everyone has everything as like a first-round pick or multiple firsts and all that stuff, but it's just so early. We're still 2 weeks away. Once you get to the trade deadline, all of those like 2 firsts all of a sudden become like 2 seconds, right? Or 1 first becomes like, just give us a good player, right? So that is something that could go in the Lakers' benefit as we move to the trade deadline. But a couple options here would be, one, like you work something out with Atlanta, right? Like they don't want D'Lo. So yes, you can find a third team for D'Lo, but if you can't find that third team, does Atlanta want to keep Dejounte Murray? They don't have to trade Murray. I personally think that they will, right? If push comes to shove and that's the best offer they could get for Murray, I think that they'll move off of him, because the problem is that the likelihood that he actually grows in value is not going to be good. Because if Atlanta keeps being bad, then guess what? Teams know you're bad and you need to get off of them. And the market for Dejounte Murray right now is very small. If the Lakers, who are the only team that's put a real offer on the table for Dejounte Murray, goes elsewhere and gets other pieces, well, then guess what? Now you're left with Dejounte Murray, or you're selling him for pennies on the dollar when you could have gotten a lot more from the Lakers. So I just don't see Atlanta turning that down. But maybe if it's like, okay, if we have to take D'Angelo Russell, we need to expand this deal. Like, we'll take D'Lo, but you need to take on some more long-term contracts, right? So that's where you could get a Bogdanovich, maybe taking a Clint Capella. Maybe you're taking both in some like big trade, some big move, some big haul. Maybe you could convince them to get you Sadiq Bey, or maybe you're taking like a Hunter. That is something that could be another approach for the Lakers, where it's just kind of like, okay, well, if we're going to have to take D'Lo, then you're taking other stuff, right? We're going to work this out. Like, give us Rui and we'll give you, Clint Capella or Bogdanovich or whatever. And at least that way it feels like we're winning a little bit. That could be a opportunity. But then outside of that, it's like all the 3 teams, right? Or individual trades. So they could go and trade for Dejounte Murray, and then the Lakers would still have, I believe, like 3 seconds, maybe 4 seconds to go and use to try to pillage some other guys, right? So Talks about Bruce Brown. I wouldn't mind Dejounte Murray and Bruce Brown, especially Bruce. I mean, you could literally start those two. Bruce Brown's three-point shooting is a bit of a concern, but just defensively, it would be great with those two. Just basically patrolling and hounding opposing teams' guards. That would be pretty nice. But, your other options is like, could you get maybe like a Gary Trent from Toronto? It's targeting the teams that basically want to kind of tear things down. How many teams are actually going to give up a first for Bruce Brown? That's the real question, because not only as a team do you have to match his salary. Yes, you have a team option, so you can terminate that option, and you could even work out a new deal with him. The problem is that, like, if you did something like that, you run the risk of him just leaving, right? You run the risk of him, like what happened with the Lakers situation. The Lakers were extremely confident Bruce Brown was coming to Lakers, right? He had options, but all signs pointed to the Lakers were going to sign Bruce Brown. It was a wrap. And then at the final hour, boom, here comes the Indiana Pacers with an overpaid deal. It's very possible some team does that. Very possible you go and you try to restructure his contract, and someone goes in and is like, well, they can only pay you $11 million, so what if we give you 15? And he's like, oh, well, I'll take the 15, right? And now he's off again. So the value for Bruce Brown, I don't think will be as high, right? And that's kind of the things that they need to target and kind of trust that, like, hey, we're the Lakers. Like, they're not, like, if we're good and we're contending for championships, or even if we win a championship, they're going to want to stay type thing. So I think you make the moves with kind of that leverage a little bit, because again, it's the Lakers. Players want to play for the Lakers. But you also don't want to do anything that's so risky it ends up putting you in a position. That's why I wouldn't give a first for Bruce Brown. But if you get a couple seconds, I mean, worst case scenario, you just opt him in, you keep him on the roster, and then you at worst, you have a $23 million expiring contract that you could use to trade. So that is something else that could really be beneficial. Or even at the, in the offseason when some more draft picks free up, maybe you're making another move and using him as a contract to kind of shape that, right? Those are options. Then there's like the 3-team route. Right, there's several teams that have been kind of mentioned in a 3-team deal. The Washington Wizards, maybe you could go get a Tyus Jones, Daniel Gafford. Even if they're not a part of the 3-team deal, like let's say it's the Nets that are part of the 3-team deal, right? Just using them as an example, and they take D'Lo, Spencer Dinwiddie goes to the Atlanta Hawks, and the Lakers get Dejounte Murray. I would still hit up, like a team like the Wizards and try to see, like, what would it take to get Gafford? What would it take to get Tyus Jones? Problem is, like, team like the Wizards, you're not going to be able to trade, like, Rui back to them. So that could be a bit of a problem. But maybe you can even expand the deal, right? Maybe the Wizards are like, hey, we'll take D'Lo. We like D'Lo. Again, I'm not saying that they would or wouldn't, but just an example. Maybe you get a team, Orlando, who's like, hey, we like D'Lo. We'll take D'Lo. And, you're shipping that out. Just try to get some pieces from these other teams, right? If the Lakers get Dejounte Murray, again, under the assumption they get Dejounte Murray, what other things do they need? They need a backup center, that's for sure, right? So you want to try to find teams, target teams that have that. Teams that come to mind are the Washington Wizards. The Charlotte Hornets are another team, right? You could maybe go hit up Charlotte and be like, hey, they also have the Kyle Lowry contract, right? So maybe they could be part of a 3-team deal, and you're getting Nick Richards and Miles Bridges or something as part of the deal. That is definitely an option. And then Kyle Lowry's going to the Atlanta Hawks, and maybe they buy him out, and then there you go. And then maybe you can pick up Kyle Lowry in a backup role, right? That is something that could happen. But to me, it's just like targeting these various teams that have other needs and positions. You need a legit, preferably 3-and-D wing depth, right? So that's where like a team like Brooklyn would really come in mind. You get a Royce O'Neal, a Dorian Finney-Smith, maybe you can get both, and whether it's including them in a 3-team deal, whether it's individually, like, again, you're just trading for Dejounte Murray, and then you're hitting up Brooklyn and going, hey, let's work out a deal for Dorian Finney-Smith and Royce O'Neal. Maybe you're giving up Rui and Max Christie or something, which would suck to see him go, but you're trying to win now, right? If you could end up with both of these guys, give up, 2 seconds, 3 seconds, and now you're in a position where it's like, okay, well, we just got Dejounte Murray, Royce O'Neal, Dorian Finney-Smith for basically D'Lo, Jalen Schifino, Max Christie, and Rui Hachimura. Just a better position, right? They're guys that are bigger needs, fill voids. You're much better offensively, which the Lakers need, but you're still maintaining that level of defense. Got guys that are coming in that are really going to be just ready to go, impacting. And then the center, I know we really need a center, but to me, and the Lakers don't seem very concerned about landing a center, which I am not either, if I'm being honest. I don't think it's going to be an issue getting a center. That's just me personally, right? You already have options in the buyout market. You don't need some premier starting center. You don't necessarily need like a Clint Capella or something like that. You just need somebody that can kind of come in, play in a backup role, provide you like 10 to 15 minutes, and then, during the regular season, if Anthony Davis gets the night off, can fill in the role and basically not make you an unplayable team, right, when AD's out. So, Rob Pelinka, look, I trust Rob. I believe he's going to figure it out. I believe that he'll find the proper deals. One thing about him, he's extremely patient, right? He doesn't get too caught up in everything, which is good. He lets cooler heads prevail. If a deal's there, he's going to take it, right? And again, you still have the buyout market. So there's names like Gordon Hayward. I think Gordon Hayward would be solid off the bench in a limited role. I think the days of him, being Utah Jazz Gordon Hayward are over. But I do think he's still a guy that could go give you, 10, 5, and 5 on any given night, or 10, 3, and 3, whatever, which in a bench role, that's perfect. If he's your 8th, 9th guy, it's good. You're in good shape in that regard. But to me, it's like, go get the big impact player in Dejounte Murray. Cool. Then at that point, all you need is like 1 or 2 starting level or high rotation guys. If you get that, then I think the Lakers could be back on track to being the best team in the league, right? Because a guy like Dejounte Murray, again, we're assuming that he can get to some form of all-star level. I mean, some people think he is now, but he's not like what he was with San Antonio. To me, it's more of him buying in on the defensive side of things than anything. If he can kind of get back to that defensive version, then I think the Lakers are in good shape. And now you just need other pieces to kind of complement that. But anyway, as always, this is a discussion, so I pass the question on to you. Let me know your thoughts and opinions down in the comments below. What do you think? How do you feel? What other pieces do you want? Is there anything specific? Is there anything that you think the Lakers should target instead? Again, throw out some ideas. I'd love to hear them. I'd love to read them. So that being said, if you haven't liked this video, hit that like button. Helps me out a lot. Lets me enjoy these types of videos, and I truly appreciate it. If you're not subscribed to the channel, hit that subscribe button. Turn on the bell notifications. Appreciate y'all. See you in the next one. Thank you.